exciting. Thanks for joining me. I hope everybody's well and I hope everybody had a good weekend. By the time you see this, it'll probably be halfway to the next one, but I'm filming it on Monday, so the weekend is still at the forefront of my mind. Today I have a Q&A for you. I'm attempting to answer all the questions you left when I invited questions a couple of videos ago. There's a good selection and I think it's going to take a while, so I am armed with my cup of coffee. And if I'm looking downwards, it's because I've got the questions on my phone down here. You're perched on 3 candles and 2 coasters to get you to the right height, and I've got my phone leaned up against the candle. I was going to say pyramid, pillar I think is what I mean. So yeah, it's a very professional, I can't put your teeth back in, Caroline. It's a very professional setup we've got going on here this morning. YouTube at its finest. Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into the questions. And first one is Will going back to college or will he work from home? And for those who don't know, my son Will, who's 20, is at university in Bath. He is going back. I think there's a sigh of relief all round from all of us for that. It's been a long old 6 months having him home. And much as I love him, he needs his own space, we need our own space. It's the natural way of things, isn't it, when they get to that age, that you don't really want them to live with you. You've brought them up, they're spreading their wings. So yes, he is going back. He'd already arranged a student house for this year before he came back, so he's got accommodation to go back to. I think university is going to look very different this year. They only have 4 hours of contact time on campus per week, which for a practical course like chemistry is slightly odd, slightly worrying, all of those things. And of course they haven't reduced university fees, have they? Which seems, when you're getting basically an open university experience rather than the hands-on, active, practical aspects of your degree. Let's not get political, but I'm not very impressed that they're having to pay full price for half the service effectively, because it's not cheap going to uni, is it? But yes, he is very much looking forward to going back, and we're probably looking forward to him going back as well. And he's got, I think, another couple of weeks before he goes back. The next question is, how is your new vacuum working for you? Mine has about died and reviews are confusing. God, I completely agree with this. The reviews when I started looking into getting a new vacuum were confusing to say the least. I asked you guys and a lot of you said Shark, and I got the Shark. I'm looking over there because it's sitting over there. The Shark Lift Away, and I am very pleased with it. The only thing I would say is I was expecting it to be lighter than it is. It's actually quite heavy. Not quite as heavy as a Dyson, but still heavier than I expected from reading the reviews online. So I still have got my Dyson cordless, which I like, which is good for the stairs and stuff like that. I use the Shark mostly for big areas of carpet that the Dyson cordless isn't quite man enough for. But yeah, overall very pleased with the Shark. Next question is something that I get asked a lot, which, where did you get your gorgeous bedroom lights? I admire them every time they're on screen. Thank you very much, that's very kind. We love them too. They are the hanging lights that hang at either side of my bed, over the bedside tables. I'll insert a picture here for those who don't know. And I'm afraid the answer to this is that I got them from a little independent lighting shop in Dorchester, and I can't remember the name. So I think, I'm not sure if they do online or not. I don't think they do online, but I think there's only one independent lighting shop in Dorchester, so if you Google it you might be able to find it. But yeah, that's where they came from. Next question is, what are your 5 favourite books, films and TV series? In other words, if you're only ever able to have access to 5 books, films and TV shows, which ones are must-haves? God, that's hard, isn't it? Wouldn't like the thought of only 5 books, films and TV series for the rest of my life. Not sure I could do 5 of each, but TV series, the ones that immediately spring to mind. I'm thinking if I only had 5, I'd want things that had a lot of different episodes. So Grey's Anatomy is one of my favourites ever, and I think there's about, are they up to 17 seasons of that? Am I making that up? I think it might be somewhere around there. So Yeah, and I've watched every single episode and I absolutely love it. The other one that I would like to rewatch that has plenty of episodes is 24. That was probably one of the first box sets that I ever binged with Kiefer Sutherland, and yeah, I used to get the new box set for Christmas each year after the series had come out and watch it one after the other. Yeah, so that would be another one. And yeah, I can't think of any other TV series that immediately spring to mind. Films wise, probably a bit of something weepy, something uplifting, something action packed, maybe a good period drama. So yeah, a good selection film wise. Something, Dirty Dancing is a good uplifting one, or Mamma Mia, I love that. Oh, let's have a musical as well. The Greatest Showman's lovely, isn't it? Les Mis is fantastic. What am I trying to think of? The Stephen King adaptation from a short story that is a brilliant film about a guy who spends years and years in prison and eventually escapes with oh god, I can't think of any words this morning. No words, no names, nothing's coming to me. You know the one I mean. I'll put it across the screen when I edit it because I'll have remembered by then. Yeah, so that's something like that. Books. Oh, it's hard, isn't it? So I'd probably go for something by, again, something long, perhaps something I haven't read for years. Gone with the Wind, I loved and need to revisit. That's a nice long one, isn't it? Something uplifting, maybe Rachel's Holiday by Marion Keyes. I never get bored of reading that and talk about that quite often. Something by Jodie Picoult, maybe something by Diane Chamberlain. The next question is, if you could have 3 famous dinner guests, past or present, who would they be? Oh, there's lots of questions in this one, so let's I'm not sure I really want any famous, but I think famous people are probably overrated as dinner guests. I'd much rather have dead relations. One more evening with people who are no longer with us, I think might be nice. Either of my grandmothers would do. In fact, I'd even like my dad, before he had Alzheimer's, an evening with my dad, you know, when he was back to his best. He was very witty and funny, and there's still moments of it, you know, but obviously that would be nice. I remember one particular dinner with my dad that I'd like to revisit. That would be good. But yeah, famous people, not so much for me. It would always be people that I've actually known, I think. Next question is, if money was no object, what would you do all day? Pretty much the same as I do now, I think. I've been asked this sort of question before, and I think the thing that would mainly change for me if money was really no object at all would be that I would want to travel more and more luxuriously, probably. I don't think my actual day-to-day life when I was at home would be an awful lot different. I would still want to do my eBay selling because I love doing that. I get a buzz out of it. I probably wouldn't do any of my own cleaning. I'd probably have a more regular cleaner. Yeah, I think your average day genuinely wouldn't change an awful lot, well, for me anyway. What motivates you to work hard is the next part of this question. Money, basically, not the actual having money. The money brings security and options and freedom, and I guess those are the things that motivate me to work hard. So yeah, purely those things. What does Will want to do when he's older? He doesn't entirely know. He would like to work for some sort of tech startup, possibly. He's doing chemistry as a degree. I touched on that earlier. He hasn't any definite plans as yet, but he would quite like to work for a startup in the tech field. Is where he's at the moment, although it changes quite regularly. At the moment he's a full-time estate agent and is quite enjoying that. At least he's enjoying the money. It's quite lucrative, but yeah, I don't think he wants to be an estate agent for the rest of his life, but who knows what will happen. The next question is, what one thing would you change about your appearance? I think overall I would, for health reasons as well as aesthetic reasons, would be that there would be less of me. That's the main thing that I would change about my appearance. I can't think of anything else particularly. The other thing that I would like is stronger nails. My nails are incredibly weak. I've tried every product on the market over the years, and yeah, incredibly weak nails. So is that counted as your appearance? But those are the two things that spring to mind anyway. Next question is, if you could choose to live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? I actually, at the age I am now, I like living here. I think it's nice to have a second home somewhere a little warmer, but that's something that's unlikely to happen. I would like to travel more, as I've said. I can see us travelling a lot more in retirement. In fact, we were talking about retirement only yesterday. But as for living somewhere else, I'm not sure. When I was younger, it would have been Australia. I always said that if I didn't have family and if things were different on a personal level and Ashley didn't have his business here, I would like to have moved to Australia, mostly for the weather, I think, and just the outlook on life, I think, is a little bit easier, and the space, the amount of space there. I feel like we're in a, I'm lucky down here in Devon, but we're on a crowded old island, aren't we? And the building and the stuff, and anyway, yeah, it would have been Australia, I think. Definitely, it would have to have been somewhere English speaking, but now I think probably too old to make a big move abroad, and I don't have any desire to particularly anymore either. Next question is, will you vlog your trip to York, please, Caroline? Well, not sure the trip to York is even going to come off, as York is apparently currently in a red alert area or something because of coronavirus. They've had a big spike in cases there, I was reading over the weekend, so we're not sure if we're going to be going. If we do end up going, I will probably vlog some little bits and pieces, maybe. I'm not making any promises on that. I'll see how I feel, if that's okay. Next question. I am menopausal and my hair has thinned considerably and it is almost completely grey. How do you manage to have such thick hair and no greys? I genuinely don't at all. My hair, if you ask my hairdresser, she would say my hair is not at all thick, it is fine, but I just have a lot of it. So I am blessed with a lot of hair, but it's certainly not thick. It's always been very fine and very flyaway, my hair. I do also have greys. I have a hell of a lot more greys than I had this time last year. I think that might be true of a lot of us. As I've said before, 2020 has been a challenge, hasn't it? But yeah, I dye my hair obviously, but yes, there's a lot of grey coming through there now. Next question is, do you have any tips for storing jewellery, please? I have an overladen tree of necklaces. I can show you how I store my necklaces and earrings. I use hanging storage, so I'm going to insert a little clip here. So this is my hanging necklace storage. I love these hangers. I've had them for a couple of years. I've actually slimmed down my necklace collection in recent months, so I could potentially get them all onto one now, but I find these hangers so useful. I will link them in the description box below. But I love the fact that you can, yeah, they just sit up there and take up literally no space. The other thing I like about it is they're not out, they're not causing something else to dust, you know, and just generally getting in the way, and I like the fact they're tucked away and kept in here. So that's that one, and then my earrings I store in this long hanging, again, hanging container, I guess you'd call it, and it's double-sided. So you've got loads of pockets down each side, and again it takes up almost no space at all, and I can keep it tucked away. Next question is, what makeup foundation do you find doesn't come off on your blouses and collars and necklines of dresses? I tend not to wear anything high necked, so I don't have this as a major problem. Also, I only blend in my foundation to about this sort of area, so only a very little way down my neck. I try and use a foundation that's as close to my real skin colour as possible, so I don't have that different colour to blend right down my neck. I find a setting spray really does help in terms of transfer, and the one that I would recommend, two that I would recommend if you want to go a bit more pricey, Urban Decay All Nighter is absolutely brilliant. I'll link these in the description box. And if you want a little bit cheaper, the Rimmel one is also really, really good in terms of stopping stuff transferring. So yeah, the Rimmel one I was wearing a couple of weeks ago. I had a full face of makeup on and I was sitting on the bed reading, and I ended up falling asleep. My cheek was right into the white pillow and no makeup transfer at all, and that was using the Rimmel setting spray. So highly recommend that one. Good price as well, so link that in the description box. Next question, your favourite seaside resort in the UK for a weekend away? We are lucky in that we live by the sea here in Devon, or very close to the sea. I was brought up in Bournemouth, which is also very close to the sea. So going to the seaside probably doesn't hold the same excitement, or for me it's not something that I look for in terms of a weekend away, because I live by the sea. I'm lucky enough to live by the sea, so going there isn't a big change for me. If I was looking for a weekend away, for me it would probably be a city break, because that's quite exciting. I've never lived in a city and I really enjoy spending time going and exploring cities, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask about that. But I do quite like Lyme Regis on the Dorset coast. That's very nice. Next question is, what sort of music do you and Ashley like to listen to? We are not massive music listeners to these days. We used to listen to music a lot more when we were young, but in the house very rarely do I put music on. And Ashley the same. Next question, hi Caroline, who is your biggest influence and why? I think I would have to say my mum. She is someone I aspire to be like, and she's had a great influence on my life, all positive, and I'm very lucky to have her. So yeah, she is my biggest influence and greatest inspiration. Next question, which film or TV character do you most identify with and why? Do you know, I've thought about this a lot and I can't think of anything. I don't align myself with TV characters at all, so yeah, I couldn't come up with an answer to that one, sorry. What are your current pets, and are you more of a dog or a cat person? At the moment we have one cat. Our other cat sadly died earlier this year. My cat is called Ron, my other cat was called Reg, they were named after the craze. And we also have a tortoise called Freddie. We're not sure if he's a boy or a girl, so that's a kind of unisex name, isn't it? He's gender neutral. Gender liquid gender, what are they called? I don't know. I'm definitely more of a cat person. We've always had cats since we've been married. Although I like other people's dogs, I have no desire to own one at all. All that picking up of dog poo with bags, not for me. Next question is, if there were two things you would say to your younger self, what would they be? And the first one would be, you're not as fat as you think you are. Later in life you're going to be an awful lot fatter, so make the most of being fairly slim now. You're not as fat as you think you are. Second thing I'd say to my younger self is, in 2019, Caroline, even though you won't know the reason for it, start a company manufacturing and importing PPE for medical staff and for the public's use. It would be worth it, believe me. The next question, another good one. If you could turn back time, which part of your life would you go back to, and would you do anything differently? I think that's a really hard thing to answer. The part of my life that I would like to relive again is my days on the cruise ships. I would love to go back there and just relive that again, all the same. Perhaps I'd try and drink a little bit less because the hangovers were ferocious, but probably not. But yeah, that would be the part of my life that I would like to go and relive, or else my university days, Polytechnic. Again, really happy memories of that, really happy years. Possibly my wedding day, that would be quite nice to relive, but the first two more so, I think. As for would you do anything differently, I think that's so hard to say, isn't it? Because you could, if you did one thing differently, it could change the butterfly effect. It could change everything in the rest of your life, couldn't it? And I have had a pretty lovely life. I'm saying like it's at its end, I hope not. But yeah, I wouldn't change anything, nothing at all. No, definitely not. Next question is, would you consider doing a video on the menopause? I'm heading that way soon, but my knowledge is very limited. To be honest, there would be very little point in me doing a video about the menopause. I sailed through it. I finished it a couple of years ago. I had a fairly early menopause. My mother also did, my grandmother did. That's another thing that I think is genetic. And I was lucky enough to sail through it. I didn't have an awful lot of problems. I've had a few, I still have a few hot flushes, but overall, yeah, nothing to speak of. I was lucky, so I wouldn't have anything useful to add to the conversation on that, I'm afraid. Next question, if you could take one fiction book and one beauty product to a tropical island, which one would it be? I think we've covered the books in an earlier question. One beauty product, I think it would have to be, I'm not sure if suntan lotion, sun protection cream is included as a beauty product, but if it is, it would obviously be that, with a nice body moisturiser in it as well, or body moisturiser with SPF in it, I think, because your skin gets very dry out in the sun all day, doesn't it? Would love to know what brand or company you get your t-shirts and tops, long or short sleeve, and what brand or company you would recommend for ladies of our age. I think ladies of our age should certainly not confine ourselves to any particular brands. I think look at the items and what the items themselves rather than the brands, I think is probably the best advice. Something that suits your figure, that you feel nice in, that you feel nice and confident in. I get, for long line tops, I quite like Yours clothing. So yeah, for me it's more about the look of the garment, the style of the garment, and whether it will fit me nicely and look nice on me and give me confidence than the actual brand. Next question is, when and how did you and Carla meet, and did you immediately become friends? I think we originally met through a Facebook group for eBay resellers, as I recall. And then I was already doing YouTube, Carla started doing YouTube, and then we got chatting through both of those things really, the Facebook group and YouTube, and discovered that we lived not a million miles from each other, and we met up in Taunton to do some charity shopping and eBay sourcing and go out for lunch, and yeah, we got on like a house on fire from the very first time we met up. Interestingly, William said to me recently, when Carla came to stay recently, Will said to me, Carla is so like Faye, isn't she? Faye is my best friend, which has been my best friend for 20-25 years, something like that. And they're certainly not alike in appearance in any way, shape or form. However, I knew immediately what he meant. Carla's personality is extremely similar to Faye. She's witty and quick, and just has a lot of the same type personality traits, I guess, and is a jolly good egg as well, of course. But yeah, so I obviously have a friend type, maybe. So yeah. Next question is, do you see your house as your forever home? If not, what would entice you to move? I can't see us living in this house into retirement. I would say maybe another 10 years and we will probably think of moving. It's too big to live in into retirement, and once we get retired and are travelling more, going away a bit more, I think it would be too big for just the two of us to be rattling around in. So maybe like 10 years, something like that, I don't know. Incidentally, I've just remembered another question that somebody left me somewhere, and I haven't got it on this list, and it was about, do you have a life plan, or do you have a life plan, or a 5-year plan or whatever? Not particularly, not a life plan sort of written in stone or even written down at all, but we did have, when we moved into this house, we thought it would be a 10-year plan to do it up, to get all the work done in it that we wanted to, and that has evolved slowly, and I think we will hit, we've been here 7 years now, and I think we will hit that 10-year, but not plan, what's the 10-year sort of deadline, if you like. Deadline's not the right word, but yeah, I think we will hit that 10-year deadline, and then who knows what will happen after that, but no more of a life plan than that, really. Next question is, what is your business stroke job? I sell full-time on eBay. I don't share my eBay account on here, so people ask me for my eBay account all the time. I keep my business and my YouTube very separate now, so I don't share that on here. But yeah, I sell full-time on eBay, and obviously YouTube I now make a little bit of money out, so that's sort of part of my business as well. Next question is, do you do your own home decor? Can we have a look as your home seems gorgeous from the bits we can see, or is that just too nosy? No, not nosy at all. I've done 2 house tours in this house previously. However, a lot of people have asked recently, and I've had a lot of new viewers, so I will do a house tour of sorts soonish. And yes, I do all my own home decor. I don't actually physically do it, but I choose all the things, if that's what you're alluding to. Ashley does some of it, and the plastering, building, that sort of stuff, we get people in for, but the actual waving around of a paintbrush and wallpapering, Ashley will do that, and quite a lot of other stuff as well he does. But yes, I will do a house tour video of sorts soon. Next question is, what makes you really happy and what really stresses you out? Life just generally makes me happy. I enjoy my life very much. I love going on holiday. That makes me really happy. Spending time with loved ones and friends, and yeah, just all nice stuff like that. My life is very enjoyable, and I'm very lucky to be able to say that. What really stresses me out? Uncertainty. Discovered that this year quite a lot. I think I knew it anyway. I'm quite a worrier. I will worry about things that haven't happened, and I get stressed about that sort of thing, you know, worry and stress about abstract things that haven't happened yet, I think, mostly. Next question, candles or eye palettes? You can only have one. Which would you pick? That is really hard. That's really hard. I think I'm going to say candles, because I could still buy single eyeshadows. Without candles, I couldn't have any candles at all. Although you could have wax melts, couldn't you? Yes, I could still have wax melts, so I couldn't have so I'd still be able to get... That's very hard. I don't think I can choose. I think it's very hard. The final question, God, this has been long, hasn't it? I've gone on for ages. Final question is, how do you style your hair? I love it. I have wavy hair about the same length, but no layers. Help. I don't think I'm very good at styling my hair. This is, what have I put on my hair this morning? I washed it this morning, then I put some Aveda volumizing tonic. I'll link that in the description box. A few squirts of that, and some Tony and Guy sea salt spray. Don't recommend that, but I'm just trying to use it up, but I'll link it in the description box anyway. And then I just turn my head upside down and blast it with the hairdryer. I do a cold shot with the hairdryer at the end, and then I put a load of hairspray on it, again upside down, throw it back the other way, and do a little bit of back combing with this front bit, and that's it. Done. Right, I'm sorry that was so long. It really did feel like a bit of a long one. So I think I answered everybody's questions. Apologies if I didn't get round to any, but I think I did manage to catch them all. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.